Good morning and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. I'm Larry Kolvig, founder and CEO of the Haven Financial Group. Kyle Thomas on again this week, certified financial planner on the Haven investment team. Kim, good to be with you.
It's great to be with you as well, Larry. Kyle, good to have you like always.
Yeah, thank you.
Hoping that everybody is well and that their summer is fun and that you're enjoying it.
It's going by fast. I shouldn't say that, but we're in the middle of July already. And, I've lived here my whole life. Let's just enjoy the rest of the summer because we know what comes next, right?
That's so very true. A lot of people feel like, we hit the middle of July and summer's almost over. And for those who live in the cities and live in other parts of the country, truth be known, the summer really sort of gets started in July because the weather can be a little tricky in June, as we know. So we wanted to talk a little bit about summer months and maybe feeling some financial freedom while you enjoy these wonderful times outdoors with your families and with friends and doing all those summer things that make all of us so happy. So let's talk about summer, the summer of financial freedom. We're going to start with the transition from saving to spending in retirement. Then we'll talk about building a summer of freedom on a retirement budget. Then we'll speak of American history, money edition, and then finally a plan for a life of freedom in retirement, not just in the summer months. So what is a summer of financial freedom, Larry?
Well, we know that financial freedom in retirement is more than just accumulation. How big of savings account? It's, do I have the freedom to do what I want to? Have I planned accordingly? Do I have enough liquidity? Do I have a good balance with my portfolio? Is my money working for me? What is it doing? There's a lot that goes into financial freedom, and of course, there's a lot that goes into retirement freedom. Do I work? Do I have to work? My health? All those things go into this discussion. It is a transition. From all those working years to those retirement years. It is a transition. If you're on the verge of retirement, be prepared for a transition. Many transition good. Some it takes a little bit of time because all those years of accumulation, work, and now you're going into the preservation or distribution years. It's a different time of life. And again, at Haven, that's what we try to help people adapt to. If you're a married couple, you maybe want to stagger that for 30 days just to kind of ease into retirement. So we're going to talk about a variety of things this segment and the rest of the show.
Sure. Well, Kyle, let's start with this transition. You're really going from those years of accumulation and saving to trying to figure out how to redistribute and spend. So, how do you plan for that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a big mind game right there. And it's a big switch because, we're told for 40 years to just save. And then all of a sudden at the flip of a switch, you're being told to spend and your paycheck is coming from you, not from an employer anymore. So, there's a loss aversion right there that people come in contact with and they have an emotional attachment to the funds that they've saved throughout their life, which is completely understandable. It feels like you're tearing down what you built up for your entire life.
Sure.
So that's a big hurdle to kind of jump over for people. But that's why we're here. And in a lot of cases, just because you're spending down your portfolio doesn't mean that you're going to have less at the end of your plan or end of your life. There's good financial strategies that you can do to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah. And that's one of the big roles that we play.
You guys, you must really have to have some conversations with folks because what Kyle just said is just really hit home with me. And that's that idea that all of a sudden it feels like you're tearing down what you've built.
It is true. That is true. All those years you've done what you did to put it away, and now you have to start drawing on it. Some people do it very easily. Some people have a very difficult time with it, spending money. I just had a couple in last week. They've been in retirement. I said, are you spending money? You having fun? Oh, no, not really. They just can't spend any money. And people say all the time, we're just going to spend it all and leave a buck for our kids. You're not going to spend it all. Knowing their personalities, they're not going to spend it all. So we encourage some people in conversations to spend, and others we have to discourage and say, at the rate you're going, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
I think of a gentleman that actually, well, several of them that were in good financial shape, lost a loved one, and now we've had to have conversations that say, at the rate you're spending or giving it to your kids or whatever it is, we got problems. So we have to play both sides of the coin, the good, the bad, but we're going to have honest, blunt conversations because we don't want to sugarcoat things, especially as important as money and retirement. We just don't want to do that. But for some people, I think it was Tom, I forget Tom Hegna. He's a book writer. He has some great books out there. We have them at the office. We offer them to anybody that comes in. For some people that can't spend, you can't take it with you either. And do you really want to be the richest person in the cemetery? Yeah. Probably not, right? So it's a balancing act, Kim. It really is.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked about, trying to get people to understand that now is the time to begin to spend, but some things can go wrong if you steer away from your plan, right, Kyle? And you've sort of talked about a few of them there, Larry.
Yeah, and if you take too much withdrawals from your accounts when the market is down, that can impact it in a big way because you don't necessarily realize losses from stocks. You want to let that rebound and recover. And also overspending too early in retirement, much like the compounding interest conversations that we've had for the younger folks, the more time that you have in the market, the bigger impact it has on the later years. The same thing goes for retirement withdrawals, right? The less that you spend in those earlier years, the better impact it's going to have in those last years of retirement. Not that we don't want you to spend, but we just don't want to, overextend ourselves on spending in those early years because we want to make sure that we're also longevity planning because people are living longer, and we want to make sure that we don't run out.
Sure.
So those are two things that we want to make sure that we don't overexert ourselves on with spending too much and spending in down years.
So what are some of the strategies that keep people even keeled during their retirement so that they're spending the right amount, not saving too much and missing good times, but not putting themselves in a position where they'll be uncomfortable at some point?
Well, at first I would say the fundamental of having a good balanced approach, some would say a bucket strategy. I don't know. That gets used so often. I don't really like that. But, having good liquidity, I always say we want people to have a benchmark of X amount of dollars when they're retired. I can tell you most people don't have that. A lot of retirees don't have enough liquidity. That can cause problems. A good amount of money in the market, if that's appropriate, because there is no one glove fits all. And we have folks that don't have any money in the market, clients, and we have clients that have a whole bunch in the market. It's whatever your goals, objectives, your desires are. And then maybe looking at having some of your overall portfolio in a bucket that is invested maybe more conservatively, if appropriate, maybe with a fixed rate of return that Kyle mentioned, maybe 5 to 8%, potentially, if that's appropriate. Looking at all the investment options, people they kind of have tunnel vision and they only look at this or this, and they don't have a balanced approach. They're missing asset classes, and that's where the team and Kyle and do a very good job of making sure that we're not just doing like a lot of the bigger captive companies. They have, well, this is what we have to choose from, and we're going to put you in this category. We don't do that. As an independent advisory firm, we're not a captive that we have upper management saying, you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way. And we see some of the same statements over and over, and everybody has exactly the same thing.
Sure.
That's not what you're going to get here, and I don't think that's what you should have right now.
No. So with some thoughtful planning and the right tools, you can shift confidently into retirement. And at the same time, you can protect your nest egg and you can enjoy some freedom that you have earned through all those years. those are statements I think that everybody is looking to fulfill. And maybe you need a partner to help you do that, help you to have the right tools and to shift confidently into retirement. Call the folks at Haven Financial Group. Their number is 612-504-8400. That's 612-504-8400. Give them a call today. Tell them you heard us here on the radio and you're ready to transition from savings to spending in your retirement. When we come back, we're going to talk about building a summer of freedom on a retirement budget. This is the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.